Company Culture Change, an interview series by Mindshare Partners. Our goal with this series is to show the progress being made in the national movement for workplace mental health. In this episode, I am so excited to speak with and introduce to you Sara Kelly, Executive Vice President and Chief Partner Officer at Starbucks. In her role, Sara is responsible for helping partners realize their career potential and for building global partner capability to enable growth and help deliver the company's strategic plan. She is also an executive champion of Starbucks Women's Impact Network. Thank you so much for your time today, Sara. I am really excited to hear about your work and how Starbucks is supporting its employees.
Nina, it is so great to be with you today. There is nothing I am more passionate about talking about than our partners and the benefits that we offer them to support them and their well-being. So it is great to be with you today.
Awesome. And just for the audience, Starbucks refers to their employees as partners. So we will be using that language just so they're aware.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. So as you know, Sara, major brands are increasingly realizing that they have a role to play in their employees' mental health. It's both for productivity reasons and because it's the right thing to do. Can you give me some insight into how Starbucks as a company thinks about employee mental health and well-being?
Yeah, absolutely, Nina. And I think you're right. I don't think anyone would argue that when employees are happy and well cared for, they feel they can bring their best self to work. And through that, we gain productivity. And we have always believed that at Starbucks. Our promise is that when we are at our best, we are building a bridge to a better future for our partners. That's what we strive to do every day. And that's what success looks like for us. We also believe success is best when shared. So as you mentioned, we provide equity to our partners, which is why we call ourselves partners, because we do believe that success is best when shared. We've also always believed that we are much more than just coffee. We're in the business of people. And with that, it's our responsibility to nurture environments where everybody feels welcomed, where they feel included, where they feel respected. But our work must be realized not through just words, right? We talk about belonging, it's part of our values, but it's more important that we ensure our partners have the support that they need, that it's through the actions that we take to make sure that they're set up with the support that they need. So over the last 30 years or so, Starbucks, like many others, have offered benefits that have focused more on healthcare and maybe solely on healthcare. And for us, it's now been about how do we continue to expand? And so over the last several decades, about how do we expand to encompass holistic wellness, which has been true for us. And we hope to influence others, right? To be true for others as well. So for us, that means looking at physical, mental, and financial wellness. A better future for our partners, or a bridge to a better future for our partners, needs to be stability in all of these areas. And we need to provide them stability in all of these areas. So we're committed to ensuring our partners have access to mental health wellness resources, the same way they do traditional healthcare, because we recognize the growing importance of support in this area specifically.
Amazing. And I truly agree with you on all three of those sort of pillars you mentioned. All of them are important and holistic of employee mental health. So Sara, you and Starbucks are very passionate about creating a bridge to a better future for all partners. When it comes to mental health at work, can you share more about Starbucks' approach of innovation and offering industry-leading benefits to foster that culture of wellness?
Yes, as I mentioned before, we've always been about so much more than coffee. And like you said, our promise and what we believe is in creating a bridge to a better future for all of our partners. This is demonstrated, as you mentioned, by offering innovative, inclusive, and industry-leading benefits. We're very proud that Aon has recently shared a study where they said that Starbucks has the most valuable benefits for the retail industry. And we know, I think, and what we've always believed, that is, our partners are the foundation of this company. And when we take care of them, they take care of our customers, who drive our business, and all of our stakeholders benefit. That's the flywheel. So this includes the physical wellness, which I talked about before. For us, the way that it shows up in physical wellness, it comes to life through our comprehensive healthcare plans that are partners that work 20 or more hours. So it's a part-time benefit as well. So partners who work 20 or more hours are eligible for and have been since 1988. That's when we first started offering it for part-time employees. But for us, it was, as I mentioned before, not stopping there. It started there, but it couldn't stop there. So then we looked at how do we expand it in the most meaningful ways for our partners. That meant we started to offer benefits for family expansion. I'm very proud to look at our history associated with the benefits that we offer for family expansion for all of our partners based upon how they choose to expand their family. Also, gender affirming care. These are the benefits that we know make a meaningful difference for our partners and for their families. We also know mental health is just as important as physical health, just as important. So mental wellness is really also more important now than ever, and especially in a post-pandemic world that represents unique challenges and continuously evolving challenges that our partners are facing every day that we are committed to providing them support with. And so that's why we implemented a program with Lyra to offer our US partners and their families access to free, personalized, confidential, and convenient mental and emotional health care or mental health care for our partners. For us, that shows up for our partners on day one. So on day one of becoming a partner at Starbucks, you have access to these benefits with Lyra. And not only do you have access, but your family does, right? Your dependents, your spouse, your domestic partner have access to these benefits as well. That includes 20 free sessions for the partner and for any one of their family members. And so I'm very proud of what we've been able to offer for our partners. In addition to that, I guess what I should also add is that for our partners in US and Canada, we also offer free access to Headspace. And I think you're very familiar, Nina, with Headspace, but this app teaches our partners how to meditate. It supports ongoing meditation journeys. Topics include things like managing stress and anxiety, personal growth, productivity, maybe life challenges that a partner is facing into. I know part of the app that I use is around kids, parenting. I love the kids app and the opportunity to engage my kids in it as well. So for us, cultivating a culture of mental wellness begins with offering first comprehensive benefits, but it's also about how we talk about it with our partners, how we bring them into the conversation, and how we destigmatize that as well. But for us, we know that many of our partners do choose Starbucks for our benefits, including those specific to mental and emotional health. They do choose us for those reasons, and we are very proud of that. And we hope that partners do come to Starbucks because of those benefits.
Yes, and that is so true that so many more employees that are looking for new roles, new positions, mental health benefits are just such a big factor in that decision.
Yes, agreed.
Awesome. So you have a long-standing career supporting talent and partner experience at Starbucks. How have you seen Starbucks culture and policies supporting employee mental wellness evolve over time?
Yes, and as you mentioned, I've been at Starbucks for 22 years, and what has kept me here and makes me so proud to be a partner is how we have continuously focused on taking care of our partners and their loved ones. And I've shared it. This is what starts our flywheel, right? That it allows us to reinvest in our partners and bridge to a better future for them, which is our partner promise. And it is what has kept me here for 22 years, is that deep commitment to partner care and putting our partners first. And I think within that, relevancy is the key word when it comes to our benefits, because we've always been focused on how do we make sure that our benefits are the most relevant benefits to our partners. And that's why we are constantly listening, seeking input from them on what are the resources that would empower them as partners to excel, that would help them and create a sense of belonging or foster a sense of belonging and support their growth. What that looks like has depended on the moment in time and, kind of what matters most with our partners in that moment. So as I go back in the 90s, it was healthcare and Beanstalk. So offering equity and opportunity to share in the success of the company, which we have that longstanding history in. In the 2000s, it was being a leader in the retail space by offering supportive fertility services, which I talked about, particularly for part-time partners with our health insurance plans. In 2014, it was about the Starbucks Achievement Plan. So that's our partnership with ASU of offering a tuition-free 4-year degree. We've got about 25,000 partners who participate in that. In 2020, it was about Lyra, and it was about mental health support. What I love most about Starbucks is that when it comes to the benefits, We believe that there are limitless possibilities in terms of how we can support our partners and truly explore how to set our partners up for success, not just at Starbucks, but in really all aspects of their lives, inside and outside the four walls. And while our benefits and offerings have evolved and will continue, very committed that we're going to continue to evolve our benefits to meet the needs of our partners, our philosophy remains the same, will always remain the same. And that's rooted in the fact that what our partners share is most relevant and necessary to enable them and their loved ones to live their best lives is what we will commit to and what we will focus on. And that I will say will never change. That will continue to be the philosophy here at Starbucks.
Amazing. And this actually segues nice into my next question. So, mental health is not a cookie cutter approach because every organization is different. So, we really love that Starbucks takes that tailored approach and evolves its benefits to meet the needs of its partners by listening.
Yeah.
So, we'd love to know, how does Starbucks listen to their employees? How do you get that feedback from your employees to incorporate into your benefits strategy?
I think it's so important, Nina, and I think it's so great that you mentioned that listening to employees and the voice of employees is so critical to the decisions that any company makes. And the company's dedication here at Starbucks to actively listening to partner feedback has enabled us to introduce significant investments in the partner experience that has enabled us to both set a bar in offering benefits across the industry, but has deeply impacted the engagement that our partners have back into the brand, into their roles, into the company. And I believe is directly shown through on the way that we create the customer experience and the impacts on the business as well. And so I do believe that by investing in employees, by listening to what matters most to them, has a direct impact on the business and the business performance. When it comes to mental health, we have focused at Starbucks about wanting to break the stigma that can often be associated with the topic. So in that context, we were originally striving to solve for some of the underlying issues, to comprehensively address the systemic problems with mental health that our partners are dealing with, hence the partnership with Lyra. So that's where it started. But it really started with conversations that we were having with our partners. So back in early 2019, our US retail leadership team were out having listening sessions. So they were out in stores with partners, having listening sessions to understand and engage with partners about where they were experiencing challenges, both in work or in their personal lives. And those conversations resulted in themes specific to mental health. The conversation was really about mental health, and it had become louder and much more prominent with our partners in. It was those conversations and coming out of those conversations that we wanted to look at something entirely new. And so that's what started the conversation and led us to Lyra. Our partnership with Lyra has allowed us to then continue to evolve the benefits and the benefits that we're offering and make sure that we are offering leading mental health resources, certified mental health therapists, coaches, also training that can help our partners navigate difficult moments in their life or difficult moments in time. And so we knew we needed to continue the conversation. We knew we wanted to do something to destigmatize talking about mental health in the workplace by offering these resources, by creating the conversation, by enabling our partners who were asking for help to have the resources that they need. It's not also lost on me that we were fortunate enough that this started in 2019. This conversation came up in listening sessions with our partners in 2019. So it led us to Lyra. We started offering Lyra in 2020, right at the onset of the pandemic. And so we were fortunate enough to have that going into the pandemic, which was such an invaluable resource to our partners as they navigated through the pandemic. But now coming out of the pandemic, or kind of where we are in a post-pandemic world, they are so valuable, I would say, in how we continue to navigate the changes that we face in the world since. And so I think it was not just so fortunate and invaluable going into the pandemic, but to now have this in a post-pandemic world so that our partners have the support that they need in a changing world. But it all comes back to, so I think, Nina, to your question, it all comes back to these listening sessions in 2019 that we were hosting where our partners asked for support with mental health that led us to Lyra. And so every Every year, we're looking at new ways in which we can do discrete choice conjoint analysis or listening sessions with our partners to get feedback from them on what would matter most to them about the ways that we can continue to innovate and invest in their benefits and their experience.
Wonderful. And stepping out a little into the leadership role, Mindshare Partners advocates for and has seen really profound impact of business leaders talking about mental health and sometimes sharing their own mental health journeys to reduce stigma. Sarah, you believe in embracing vulnerability as a partner and especially as a leader. What does this mean to you, and how do you apply this belief into your work and your role at Starbucks?
And you're right, Nina. So embracing vulnerability has always been a personal principle for mine that I try to hold myself accountable to every day, and to really reflect on: am I showing up as my authentic self? Am I being as vulnerable as I can in each and every moment? And as a partner, as a leader, I think embracing vulnerability means being open and willing to show your true self. It means showing your strengths, but also your weaknesses or your opportunities and your emotions in the workplace. So for me, embracing vulnerability means I'm not afraid to show my emotions in the workplace. And it means, I think, also maintaining a focus on cultivating an environment where partners are supported in fostering a sense of belonging, because belonging is really about bringing your full self to work, and that means your strengths, your opportunities, your weaknesses, your emotions in any moment. And so reducing mental health stigma at Starbucks has involved kind of applying this belief or encouraging that open communication about mental health, sharing personal experiences of vulnerability, also leading by example by showing empathy, showing emotion, understanding towards others, no matter what a partner is going through. And often we don't know what they're going through. So showing up with that empathy and showing up with vulnerability enables them to feel seen, heard, and recognized. And I think it starts, to your point, it starts with leaders, because we can't expect our partners to seek out resources or to feel comfortable sharing if they need resources, if they need support, if we don't pave the way first. And I think we're all human, and it's important to recognize that. The thing about Starbucks too is we are in the business of human connection. So our business is built on human connection. So really, I think embracing humanity is at the core of our business and core of who we are. And so I think we have really a lot of opportunity ahead. And with each step, we want to ensure that every partner feels supported, knows where to seek help for themselves and for others. And so continuously talking about that is so important. And to continue to foster that culture where partners feel supported, not judged, for leveraging those resources, I do think starts with us as leaders.
Amazing. And so thank you again, Sarah, for joining us today.
Yeah.
Before we go, I wanted to ask you, what might you say to viewers who are also leading this type of work within their own organizations? What advice or words of inspiration might you give them?
I would say it goes back to what we talked about earlier, which is listen to what your employees are sharing matters most to them. And what matters most to them, making decisions and prioritizing innovation and investments, because that is what will drive productivity, and that will drive, I think, the flywheel that we all are striving for our employees and for our business.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Sarah, for joining us today. And thank you so much for your leadership and commitment and care and passion in this work. And also thank you to Starbucks for being a leader in this space and innovating.
Excellent. Thank you, Nina. It's been so great to be with you today, and I've appreciated the conversation.